Good afternoon. We are live at NASNPROtv. Thank you so much for being a licensed esthetician, spa practitioner, aromatherapist, cosmetologist, spa owner, Spa Hive community member. We are in this together, and we have the next segment from Jennifer Bley called the Smiley Principle. It will help you make certain that you get every shopping experience, that you make every sale with a smile. Jennifer Bley is an esthetician from Florida and also Pennsylvania. She is a national educator, internationally trained, and I'll let her tell you maybe a little bit of information about that. And she is the, again, educator from Dr. Grandel, and just a wealth of information and insight. And I'm so excited to be able to learn about the Smiley Principle. So get your pen and paper ready for your mind to be blown. More excellent education from NASNPROtv. Jennifer Bley, take it away.
Hello, everyone. I hope you can see me well. I'm very excited to be part of this. And even though you hopefully can see me, I cannot see you. If you have any questions or comments, I will answer them later. So yes, as Denise said, I'm an esthetician. I'm an esthetician since 2009 in Germany, and then I moved to Florida 7 years ago and did my esthetician license there. But I have always been a trainer for estheticians because I have a skincare ingredient background, and that was my wish to just give estheticians the other side of what's behind all of the products. I was a representative and trainer with Dr. Grandel in Germany. And when I moved here, I was able to work, or I still am, for their distributors. And one thing that we did with our customers was we also taught them some sales models. And one of them is the so-called Smiley Principle. And the Smiley Principle is not about any emojis or anything like that. It's not necessarily about you always smiling. It's about what we can do and how to communicate with our customers to make them smile. And this is something that we are usually missing in our client forms. We have everything about skin conditions, and we do all the analysis. But sometimes we forget about the person behind it, because they, beside of having a skin condition, they also have a skin emotion. And that's something that you can connect to, and they connect with you on that level a lot deeper as well. So we will go through a little bit of the overview before I go into the details. So now most of our states are able to do skincare services again. Not us in Pennsylvania, unfortunately, but we will get there, I'm sure. But I hear from my customers in the states that are allowed to do skincare services that not everybody is coming back. So why is that? That is one thing. What I'm going to talk about is maybe we should communicate with them differently depending on who they are. And then also we are going to look at why is not everybody buying the product from us? Not even one. You always have that one or two customers that are just not getting the product from us, even though they might come for a facial on a regular basis. And we're going to look at these questions while we are going to forget about money. Okay, so of course there are customers that are on a budget, but usually we have products in our shelf that is for every budget, so we are going to forget about that a little bit and concentrate really on the person. So the other question is, do you really know your customer? You might know some private things, but do you really know what is important to them and who they really are and what is their skin emotion? Then we will also look at how you can identify what your customer really wants and who they really are. It's going to be fun, and you're going to relate maybe to yourself a little bit. And as we're going through the different personality types, you might think of your customers already. Oh yeah, that's them. Oh, that's them. So let's get into it. Communication is the key, as with everything. And we have 4 types of personalities. The first one is the dominant one. And as you can see, I use the D in red. It's just, you can also color code personalities. It's a little bit easier. So the dominant one kind of represents this lady over here. So you can get an idea of what that person is like, but we will go in detail into it. Another one is the influencer. There you go, our social bird. Then we have the steady one, the daydreamer, and we have the conscientious one, which goes into detail. So each of one of them has their different skin emotion and ways to communicate to them what would be the best treatments and what would be the best product for them at home. But you have to, even though it's the same product, you can give them different details about that product that would be good for their skin condition, but more on an emotional side. Okay, so the dominant personality is very decisive. She knows exactly who she is. She knows what she wants. She knows what she doesn't want. She's efficient, ambitious, competitive, and for us, very important, results oriented. She will ask you a lot of what questions. For example, what does the cream do? What does that treatment do for me? What can I do to get rid of wrinkles? And when you are going to explain to her the different treatments that you have or the products for her specific, idea that she wants to reach, then you often use, expressions like fresh, light, it's clear, it is activating, it is a 2-in-1 product. Dominant customers like when, everything in one, and it is successful. When you communicate with them, it's always the best to stay, in simple sentences and short answers. If you're one of the people that likes to go around the point a lot, that happens to me often, you really have to get yourself together and concentrate on who they are and communicate on their level. So sometimes we say, thinking outside of the box. I think we're all in a box, but sometimes we need to put us into their box to reach them. So here, clear and short answers, clear statements, and be really direct. They don't feel personally offended easily if you are direct and you accept who they are. So once you talk about product and you say, okay, this and this and this is what you need to get that effect. She is, more likely to take it because she wants that effect. But then if she says no to something, it's better to accept the decision and not try to come up with another idea, because then it makes to her is like, oh, now she's trying to sell me something, which we're recommending, right? We do not want to push anybody to anything. So we just accept the decision and give her time, and she will come back and think about it. Let's go into the next one, the influencer. So the influencer, as I said, is more of like the social bird. She's outgoing. She always knows what's the latest trend in skincare and fashion. She's enthusiastic about any changes. She is relationship oriented. She likes to chit chat, and she's very optimistic and lively. And one of the most questions she asks is how? How can I get rid of wrinkles? And how many products do I need? See here, the dominant person, you could tell her this and this and this is all you need, and she will be fine with it. The influencer gets a little bit anxious when she has to take too many products, maybe because she's thinking of the time that she would have to spend in the bathroom, because she is more the one that wants to go out quickly. So she wants the result, but it has to go quick, and it has to be very emotional that she feels good about it. So her skin emotion talk or conversation would be, it feels silky, it feels refreshing, it's creamy, it's wonderful, it's heavenly, fantastic, modern, and trendy. Here you can also go on a very emotional basis, saying it's like a jump into a fresh water. While the dominant person might look at you, sure, she will be totally about this. Conversation style is be enthusiastic about the product that would be right for her skin condition, so she will really take it. Ask her a lot of personal questions to really demonstrate your interest in her and create that relationship to her, because that's very important for her. And as I mentioned before, use a lot of emotional descriptions. So also give options. She is not just that, okay, this is the only one that works for you. She likes to have different options and make a decision, and yes, create new incentives. Okay, then we have the steady one. The steady one is very relaxed in herself. She's very patient. She likes to support others. There are a lot in charities, for example, and taking care of animals, foster. They're very friendly and thorough and very cooperative. She is very concerned about like the collectiveness. So she will ask you like who else is using the cream, or who else is doing the treatment. If you happen to have one of her friends come to you for facials, then that's a good to say, she does this and this, and she does that and that. And they're likely to listen to that just because it's a friend, and they just like to have this collective feeling. Also, a question would be, if you're in a spa and you have multiple estheticians and she would come in for the first time, who is performing the treatment? So a steady person is likely to be open to get a treatment from somebody just coming out of school, who's learning, just as an example. But a dominant person, for example, would want somebody who's experienced. Okay, so just to make the differences. I hope you're going through your customer list already. And when you talk to her about product or the treatments that will be good for her, use words like it's soft, it's protecting, it's regenerating, it's calming, it's safe, it's tested. We have traditional treatments or a traditional ingredient in it. It's very reliable, and many use it. Like, this is our main treatment. A lot of people do that treatment. For the conversation style, it's you have to be more discreet. She doesn't like to be out there too much. Then ask a lot of questions within one subject. That demonstrates to her that stability and calmness that she likes. If you keep jumping around from subject to subject while you're talking to her, that will just give her a little bit of anxiety. Also describe comparisons and give advice. So here, this person needs a little bit of help to make a decision. So you have to give her time. You can give her some options, but not too many. But as I said, give her time to make a decision. And she is usually somebody who might need to take longer. So give her samples to try, and she will be usually trying them really and then giving you a feedback. You can also call her the next day to make sure everything's okay. So somebody who is in the steady field really appreciates that. Okay, the next one is the conscientious one. So this lady or gentleman is systematic and logic. They're process oriented. They might be a little bit reserved. They're very critical, and they're very cautious. And they will ask you a lot of why questions. Why does it have that effect? Why is that treatment good for me? So for somebody like that, it's not enough just to describe how the product feels. You need to give a little bit more of a specific detail, like it's a light emulsion, it's a rich cream, it's a fresh gel, or it's a very effective treatment for this and that. So you have to give a little bit more detail for her. And it's very important, if you want her to come back, you need to get her trust that you really know what you're doing. Sometimes I totally understand. We don't like to brag about ourselves. But here it is a little bit necessary just to make her feel comfortable that you really know, what you're doing, and you know the product that you're using, and you know what the results will be. So have detailed information at hand. If you don't, that's okay as well. Just tell her that you're going to give her the information later, and then really do it. That's very important for a customer like that. Always stay objective and concentrate on the problem only. Here you also have to initiate the decision of what she wants to do, just because she could get lost in detail sometimes. Like, she's all focused on all these little things that are in there, and then forgets a little bit about the bigger picture. So here you just say, okay, these are the two products, for example, or this is this treatment, and we should do it in this and this and this time. And you can easily pre-book her because she likes to be on a regimen. Okay. Also, yeah, interesting. This person is very open for test results and studies. Okay. So before we go into the recap, as you might have seen going through all the different personalities, there is not just one. It's very rare to find somebody who is just right in that one box. So we always have a little bit of this and a little bit of that. If you're going through your customer list and trying to figure out, especially the ones where you have a hard time connecting to, so they come to you, but there's always a little bit of, you're just not that connected as with other customers. Maybe because she is in a different box than you are, it's very easy for us to connect with the same kind of people. So especially concentrate on them, and then go by the main character trait. So you can use these cheat sheets, because the one that is major is the one that defines them. Okay, so let's go back to some of the answers. I hope I'm not too quick. I have no idea what time it is. So why aren't some regular customers not coming back now that we're allowed to perform skincare services? When we think about the different personality types, that's why it is so important to know who your customer really is and what is important to them. For example, if you have a dominant person, she really needs to know that you're backed up by, let's say, HEPA air filters. One of my customers in the array, hi Nancy, she has HEPA air filters in every room. It's very safe. It has proven to be safe. They use that in airplanes. So this is an information that somebody who is dominant needs. If you have a steady one, you have to say, they're all coming back. It's, we don't have any problems in our spa. And I really haven't heard from anybody out there that had an outbreak because they went to a facial. We are all so about hygienic and everything. And this is just what we have to get out there. And we don't have 1,000 people at the same time at the spa. We're all wearing masks. And I think it's pretty safe. But, we have to communicate that to our customers depending on who they are and what would be important to them. Then why isn't every customer getting home care from you? I think that's got a little bit clear. Some customers need us to help them with their decision. Others, you have to step away a little bit. So we really need to use the words that would speak to them and forget about who we are and what would be important for us. Would we pay $200 for the product? Maybe not, because we know what wholesale might be. But that's not important. They go to the next spa or to a medical doctor and get their Botox injections for hundreds of dollars. So just forget about that and really just concentrate on who your customer is and what would help them. Then, do you really know your customer? What is your skin emotion? So I can highly encourage you to go through your customer forms, especially now that we have a little bit more time in hand, and see who they are and what would be important to them. You can also mark them with the color code, as you have seen with the D.I.S.C model. And if you can tell right away, next time they come, just ask them questions that would fit into the personality traits or the cheat sheets that I gave you. If you need help with that, please connect with me later. Then, I can definitely help you out with that a little bit too. And then how can you identify what your customer really wants? So once you identify who they are, what their personality is, it's pretty easy to do that. So as I said before, use the slides as cheat sheets. You can get those actually at the NASNPRO.com/education website. If you're a member, I hope you are a member. If not, I can encourage you to become one. It's free. It's a great tool for you, resources. I always enjoy seeing, the new members in the group. And then also, if you're interested in learning more about the personalities, because there's a lot more into it, it's also about if somebody is a more aggressive communicator or more reserved. There is a lot of information on YouTube. You just go on YouTube and you put in D.I.S.C assessment, D.I.S.C assessment, and you will find a bunch of different videos there. Am I good on time, Denise? Am I good on time?
You are doing great on time, Jennifer. If you have anything to add to, I know that there's been a couple questions.
Yes.
For example, and I think everyone really connected when you said the skin has emotion. And could you maybe go a little bit more into that? Like, what does that mean? Does it mean if I'm emotional, is that going to show up in rage or acne or hyperpigmentation? What exactly does that mean?
Oh, yes, right. So, the skin always reveals what's going on within. And oftentimes when somebody says, I have sensitive skin, then usually it represents how they are. And if they have, a lot of breakouts or from stress, it needs to be calming and soothing, but also we need to talk to them in a calming and soothing way to touch them emotionally. And of course, emotions change. But the main character always stays the same. And then, what else did I want to say with that?
Well, and I'm sorry to interrupt, Jennifer. I was thinking, 2020, you are a practicing esthetician and an international educator. So you get information from Germany, overseas, and then also from your company. And then you're hands-on in it. How have you seen how COVID-19 is affecting the health of the skin? I mean, I don't have COVID, but are you seeing that maybe your clients have more stress, that's breakouts, or the maskne? Like, what exactly are you seeing in your treatment room?
Yeah, the maskne. So, I go down to Florida every 6 weeks to take care of my regular customers. And mainly, most of them really have issues with clogged pores. And it's incredible how much it became, and they can't wait for me to come back. They would want me to come back every 3 weeks to do extractions on them. It's just so much. And even though they use the good skincare with salicylic, everything to unclog, it's just, they need to come for facials. Nothing else is really helping them it's because some of them have to wear a mask all day long at work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, especially, and if they're in a restaurant, I have customers that work for Publix Deli. They, you know, it's very, very, it's really bad for them.
Now, do
You know.
you offer a complimentary mask when they leave their service? I was talking with an esthetician. I thought it was a fabulous idea.
Mm-hmm.
So many clients are not being compliant in how they're wearing their mask. So they may wear a mask, a cloth mask, a couple days in a row, and it's dirty. They get a facial, and then
Mm-hmm.
they put that dirty mask on. So are you recommending that estheticians be giving additional complimentary masks after the service?
Oh, that's a really nice idea. I haven't thought of that. I'm just always telling the customers that have to wear it like all the time, to every time they have a break and they don't have a new mask on hand, just have some alcohol and just spritz it down. Um,
Okay,
you
that's
know,
good.
that's the only, yes, because, you know, we have like a thousand masks. Like, I don't know, I have a mask over here in the car, in the purse, you know.
Right,
Um,
and I'm right there with you. I mean, we have masks hanging off, and um, from our car windows, I see people driving in the car alone with their mask on, walking their dog
mhm,
alone. You know, then
yes.
my daughter works at a restaurant, and she sees so many uh, guests, almost said patients. I'm like, I'm not at the restaurant, but sees so many guests, and they take their mask off, they lay it on the table,
Label.
then they're eating, and then they go out and they put it back on. And she's just like, Mom, and you know, we're fortunate
Mhm,
because we have a great hand sanitizer, and you know, she's been taught how. But there's just a lot of, you know, I think people have become a little, you know, loosey goosey with their mask and don't understand
mhm,
that we have more than what's going on with COVID. I mean, we have now the flu season. There's pneumonia. There's TB. There's just literally a petri dish of things that we can get. Yes, we're all
mhm,
worried about COVID, but there's other things that we can easily catch if we're not washing our hands and doing other things to make certain that our services, we are that stepping up our services as a service provider.
mhm, mhm. Yes. Well,
So
see,
really,
that's sometimes the tricky thing with the masks, that you might get more infected, you know, by touching it and having it everywhere, than
mhm.
if you would without it, you know.
So we had a
Um,
question, Jennifer, because I know
yeah,
you are not seeing the comments, but from
right.
Kathy Keldy, she has a question: how to quickly identify a client's type. So how do you do that? So your client walks in, how do you identify them?
By asking them questions that would reveal who they are. So you just go, mm,
So you know what? I'm your
for
client,
example,
Jennifer.
yeah, so that's something that you put in the client form, as well, is ask these questions. What is important to you? And there you can go a little bit into the more personal things. Um, what should the skincare product feel like? You know?
Okay.
So coming from that point, so you ask questions that will reveal their skin emotion, and then from there, you know, and give them examples. Do you more like it fresh or creamy? Safe like a haven. If you say safe like a haven, and you have a dominant person, for example,
Mm-hmm.
he might give you a look. You know, so we have
Right.
to. So we have to. So
Well,
these are the
I
things.
was thinking that too. I'm like, safe like a haven? Like, what do you mean? My skin is
Yes.
going to be heavenly, or is this a safe space? Like,
Like
what?
safe, yes, yeah.
Oh,
It's safe to use. You know, it's not toxic. Things like that. Yeah.
all right. That's a great way and to talk to your clients and just a great tip to make certain, you know, that you just triggering those correct words And we're going to have Jennifer's PowerPoint presentation in NASNPRO.com in the educational portal. Give us till Tuesday because we have one more day of full education. But Jennifer, thank you so much for sharing your information. Did Dr. Grandel have a show special?
Yes, actually, we have 20% off the Dr. Grandel products. If you go, because not everybody knows Dr. Grandel, of course, but if you go on our YouTube channel, and I have it right here, Dr. Grandel USA Northeast, you will get an educational a tool, but it will also explain all of the different products that we have within the line. I created these videos in times of closure. It's also about ingredients. So it's a more educational channel, but there you could get an overview. And if you would like to try something, we don't have any minimum order quantities. And at the moment until Wednesday, I think we said,
Okay.
right now,
So when
from NASNPRO, yeah, you have a 20%.
I get my makeup from you. So does that mean that I can get a 20% discount if I order by Wednesday?
Yeah, that's a different brand, but I can make that for you. Sure, no problem.
I just, you know what, they all come from Jennifer Bley, amazing educator, and anything she recommends, I'm like, oh, okay. So I do get my some of my foundation. Jennifer, what was it, last year you gave me the green peel?
Yes.
And one of the steps in that is making certain that you have good foundation. Not that I don't have good foundation anyways, but I fell in love with the line that you carry. And so that's my foundation. So
the BB cream, yeah. And that's the original, that is the ever first BB cream invented. It's almost 60 years old now.
I'm not 60 years old. Wait, what did you just say?
The formulation.
The product.
It's that good.
The brand. Well, and that's always good. You know, as estheticians, we're always looking at product lines. Is there longevity? How new is the product? Is there information relevant? And what is their research behind their product? You know, those are some of the questions that we should be asking our brand educators. And, you know, that's such a good point to bring up, Jennifer. I appreciate that. And this is a reminder to our estheticians, you know, ask questions. And because what's going online, as far as, you know, on YouTube, there's a lot, or on TikTok, there's a lot of misinformation. And as professionals, licensed professionals, we know health of skin, and we need to work and partner with professional brands like you and your company.
One thing I wanted to point out is also most skincare lines have just one type of packaging for every product. So every product looks exactly the same. It's not very emotional, but wellness and skincare is also an emotional thing. And I think it's always a pity it loses a little bit the attraction to a customer. So a customer is in front of that shelf. Every product looks the same. So how are they going to make a decision themselves and be spontaneous about, you know, it has to attract the eye. It's like eating, or the food that we just had. If it doesn't look good, you know, it doesn't taste as good, to me usually. But so I think skincare, if it's in a nice jar, in a different color coded jar, and they know, yeah, this is my cream, I have the blue one, or I have the green one. Right. I think that's also very helpful with offering product.
Absolutely. Well,
in general.
I know when I was, I'm dating myself because I've been in the industry for 30 years, but when I worked at PGA National Resort and Spa, our major competitors was not other spas or salons. It was the counter girls down at PGA Mall, at the Gardens Mall. And, you know, once I started realizing that I was seeing my clients and then they toddle off to the mall afterwards, and Borghese or Estee Lauder, they're going to buy products from somewhere. I want them coming and buying products from me. And so I had to change my verbiage and say, this is not just a recommendation. We actually had a prescription pad. And once I started, you put on that white lab coat, and suddenly it brings you separated. You are the expert, because if I was a doctor and I gave you a prescription pad, you'd be like, okay, yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. But when I started changing my communication skills,
Mm-hmm.
then my sales for retail and also bookings for services went up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So today we have a lot of hats that we wear. We know it. We know it's 2020. We know a lot's going on. But again, I just encourage every esthetician and spa owner to be professional, work with professional products, and rely heavily on your brand partners because they can give you, they know what information is out there and they can give you tips. If you're not doing well in sales, find out why. Is
Mm-hmm.
there a reason? There might be just some of the wording that maybe you need to change. So maybe
Right.
call Jennifer, Bley, and or in the comments, let us know where you are, where you're streaming from. Ask some questions. Say, hey, Jennifer, I'm having some really tough times communicating and engaging with my clients. So I
Mm-hmm.
think you're going to get a lot of questions in the comments below. Thank you so much for your time, Jennifer, today. We appreciate your
Thank you.
expertise and your partnership with NASNPRO. And we are going to be getting ready for our next segment. So we will see you live in about 10 minutes.
Okay. Thank you so much, Denise, for doing this. This is wonderful.
Have a great day. Bye now.
Thank you. You too. Bye.